A huge little box here of origami paper, huge box, and most of it's all the same stuff, just your standard kind of, pack of origami paper. This is a really common way to buy like a larger pack of origami paper in Japan. It has 300 sheets, usually about 20 colors. You get a couple of the foil papers in there, and this is actually made by Okina, and it's a set that is included. There's 4 usually to a pack that I buy at Costco, so it's a nice kind of deal to get a lot of paper. And then I use these, and like right now at Christmas, I use up all my reds and greens, and I have to actually go and buy more packs of just specific red paper and green paper, which you can do here because Japan's awesome. So, but this is, like I said, I'm just going to kind of show you guys my personal collection and what some of the different kinds of paper are. So, like I said, this is your standard size here. It's 15 by 15 centimeters. And then sometimes you'll also find larger paper that's 17 and a half by 17 and a half. This is the largest size usually. And then you can get big free size paper that you can cut down, and I'll show you guys a couple sheets of that later too. And then of course there's smaller sizes that you can buy, and usually those small sizes are sold in little towers, little cubes of paper, and a lot of times you'll see that they're sold in with 1,000 sheets. And that's part of the tradition of trying to fold 1,000 paper cranes as a way of trying to get your wish to come true. So you might be able to find some of those too. The paper that you usually find that's in these packs, like I said, it's just standard origami paper, color on one side, white on the other, just normal paper feel. It's nice and smooth. And they fold pretty good, and they hold a good crease. Now there's a lot of different varieties of this too. Probably get to hear a lot about washi. Washi is Japanese paper, handmade paper. Of course, it doesn't always have to be handmade these days. It can be actually made by a machine. You'd be hard-pressed to find any places that still make stuff by hand. There are a few places. There's a place kind of nearby me, and of course, if you get a chance to go to Kyoto, there's a lot of places there. You'll know you're buying true handmade washi because the price will be crazy. A couple, just 5 or 6 sheets for almost $10 is usually common. So this is a pack of washi chiogami, which is made by Grim Hobby, and chiogami is just printed paper that has like kind of a old Japanese style design to it, which are these designs that you see here. Washi is of course implying that it's got that nice feel to it on the back, where you can tell it's more of a porous kind of paper. And I know you guys can't feel this, but it does have a nice porous feel on the white side, and then this is just your printed side here. And this is like a chiogami design. You have to be careful because this is also, if you just look probably here, you can kind of see these look real similar. And for the print size, they pretty much are the same, but then on the back, this is just standard paper, and this is actually washi. You find a lot of this kind at Daiso, and they trick you into thinking you're buying washi chiogami when you're actually just buying chiogami, which is just printed to look like traditional Japanese paper. But they work great to fold with, so no complaints there. And actually, in some ways, the white, just having a really solid clear white as opposed to this creamy textured white, sometimes can be more preferred depending on your design. So those are 2 kinds. And then we kind of move on to, similarly, if you do get a chance to get some of the handmade paper, it's not always chiogami. There's also just really standard colored paper. Now this is both sides are the same color because the entire sheet of paper is dyed in the process. And this is paper that I got from nearby that's actually handmade. And you usually have a nice smooth surface, and then the more kind of papery, porous feel on the other side. If you can't get your hands on this, actually handmade kinds, then the other alternative is to get some tanto paper, and I think it might be pronounced just tant in the States maybe, but it's made by Toyo. Toyo makes beautiful paper, and this kind of paper has a nearly almost a handmade feel to it. It's the same on both sides. One side's a tad bit smoother. It's a little hard to tell which side's the front. But, and it has this nice kind of like, kind of porous feel to it. And it is a nice thick paper, and it folds really well. So if you're doing a special project, I save this kind of paper for that. The Tanto series is really cool though. This is one that has 100 colors. Unlike most origami paper where you only have 20 and then you have a lot of sheets of the same color, this all the colors are different. So if you're trying to do something and you need 2 sheets of paper, you're not going to find 2 pieces that are the same. And they also sell these beautiful packs that are just reds, just greens, and just blues, which are really pretty if you get like the reds and you're making roses. They work really great for that. So beautiful paper, highly recommend. The other thing you might see is just your standard double-sided paper. This is just regular origami paper, but both sides are colored, which is great for boxes, other kinds of things, flowers, those kinds of things. Great work for those. And these tend to be a little bit thicker, which is nice. You might also find, like I said, in these packs, there's a couple of foil pieces. This is foil paper, and there's usually gold and silver in the packs, but this is like blue. You can actually get it in lots of different colors. I've got one here even that's double-sided foil paper. Super cool. The nice thing about foil paper is the front side's foil and the back side's white. Now the double-sided, both sides are foil, but this folds super good. You get a crease in it and it stays forever. But on the flip side, if you make a mistake, it's not so easy to fix. So and I think for little kid hands, this is hard to use. It's super pretty, but it's real frustrating if you're new to origami. Another kind of paper is this Aurora design paper, and it has that real pretty iridescent kind of sheen to it, and the back is really cool and textured, and this folds fairly well. Usually these kinds of packs you will find, you know, they only have 10 sheets, if that, maybe 5. You think at first, oh, it's like only 100 yen, it's cheap, but then you find out there's only a few sheets of paper in it. But they're very pretty, so fun to do projects with those. And then kind of along those same lines, this is like a hologram paper, and this is really hard to fold, insanely hard, because both sides are foiled, and you really have to work to make creases on this, but still super pretty. And then I also have, like, this is just kind of a more even, delicate and beautiful kind of chiogami washi that has even a stronger kind of grain to the paper, and the paper is a little thicker. Really pretty paper, and one of my favorites, really, actually, of the kinds that you can get. So, and then I'm looking down because I have a bunch of these guys here. I wanted to show you guys too, kind of along the lines of the one I just showed you. This one's cool because it has like this lace design to it, doily design. So you can make really cool boxes with this, awesome boxes. So if you can get your hands on this, this is really cool. This is made by Grim Hobby too. Really cool paper. And then, kind of along the same lines, if you're looking for cool and new, unique designed paper, this I suppose would maybe be called chiogami, but it's not the traditional Japanese designs. It's just printed origami paper. It's not washi paper usually. These two here are made by Grim Hobby, and they're really cool because they have these really neat kind of pop jewel tone colors on the front, and then a back side is colored with these accent colors, and there's 6 colors. There's the polka dot series and the stripe series, which are really cool. And then these series, which I love, these are pretty new, and they're made by Midori. And Midori is actually usually a stationery company, makes beautiful stationery sets. But this is origami paper, and the idea is you can either write your letter on this, or you can use it to make just regular origami projects. The paper is a little thinner, but the design on the front is super pretty. So this is like a jewel tone cube, some pretty floral designs, and my favorite, little ladybugs, because I love ladybugs. And there's 2 series to it. This is a red and a blue, usually, for those. So all of these I have access to anytime if you guys are ever interested. I do have an online store, but it's I don't have nearly everything up at all. So if there's anything in particular you want, let me know, and I can let you guys know the pricing and stuff. I accept PayPal. So kind of again along the similar lines here, there's character stuff, of course. Pokemon, yay! My daughter's going to steal these from me when we're done. These are kind of cool because this one you can see they help make these cute little origami designed heads for these characters. And then you also have on the flip side this kind, which is just character printed paper, and then you just make your normal origami projects with that. This is Jewel Pet from Sanrio. On the other end of things I mentioned before, just as a last little bit here I can show you guys, of the chiogami paper, there are these large sheets that are printed that you can find, and these are usually at craft or high-end art supply stores, and you can also buy these online, but these are pretty expensive because you're buying one sheet, and these are usually hand painted, hand printed and pressed. have that beautiful gold accent color to all the pages, and I just can't even bear to use them because they're so pretty. So they usually come something like in this size, and then like an A3 size. It's a little bigger here. And this has actually got a little less weight to it. It's not as fancy as the other one. Probably not as high a grade as a print. But so, like I said, these kinds of things, I can get anything for you guys. If you have any questions, you want to have some advice about what paper to use for a kind of project, let me know. And I do think, if you're in the States, you can usually find stuff at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, those kinds of places. And then online, Amazon has tons of stuff available. Lots of independent sellers that are selling things even from Japan, just like what I sell too. Internationally, I can't really give any direct, recommendations for stores in your country, but I know there are a lot of places online that sell, and I'll put a link to a place in the description below that I think is based in Australia, and they have a really great collection too, and they have it all online for you to see, which is nice. So those are just kind of giving you guys some examples of the different kinds of paper that's available. So, and if you ever have any questions, just feel free to put any comments or questions in the comment section below.